Kick me in the nuts, Bruce Lee. Kick me in the nuts, Bruce Lee. That's the new catchphrase today. Or what's it gonna be? I gotta come up with a new catchphrase. I've been working on them. Hey, it's the Shlicketty DooCast. I'm your host, Aaron Forsyth. Welcome to the DooCast. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Oh, I messed it up. Wait. Before I bring Mike in, hold on. We're gonna have production nightmare. All right, before I get yelled at by HR. All right, here we go. And my host, Mike Anderson in the Square of Doom.
Man, this is why we can't have a nice set.
Oh, I know. I winged the extra logo somewhere. Usually I like to wing it that way, but it rolled.
Right.
All right. Well, you'll have that. Hey, you got to have a little calamity every now and then. That's rock and roll, right? All right. Working on the catchphrase. Well, it's funny. I did this. It's an ongoing bit I have, Mike. I've been doing. Everyone needs a catchphrase. I'm working on one. I wish the Shlicketty DooCast had one. I don't know. And it changes its moods. So I went to an open mic and I was like running it by the open mic comics, And the blank stares, they laugh because they know I'm wacky. But the list of them that were coming down, but you got to propose, you got to clean the slate and you go, all right, here's my other one. What's it going to be? You go, who wants meatloaf? And then they all awkwardly stare at you. And then I go, kick me in the nuts, Bruce Lee. Or just find, what was I had a whole list of them. I mean, I don't have my phone on me, so I can't even look at the goddamn list. But I need a catchphrase. What do you think, Mike? You got a catchphrase?
I feel like a catchphrase is in some way like we talked last time about like nicknames, and we never really had any nicknames.
No, right.
I feel like a catchphrase is sort of like a creative nickname.
Yeah, it's got to happen organically. It's like Kramer saying "giddy up," or
right.
I mean, you can't. I'm not saying like it's something stupid like "eat my shorts." I'm just saying just something that
like a get her done.
Like a get her done, but not get her done. But I like the old, So, I mean, there's always the atypical, which I love to do, is Tina and I have an ongoing joke, which is, of course, the classic cliche. We hate it. Everyone hates it. It's low-hanging fruit is when somebody goes, "That's what she said." That's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard. Tired of it. But here's the newest. Here's the one I use. And feel free, if it catches on, you guys can use it. It's a game her and I play, and instead of saying that, we say, tee me up on something. I'll say, Mike, say, say something that would...
That's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
I rented that on VHS once. But we do that. That's what her and I do back and forth. Not a lot. Because you can't overdo it, and you can't do more than once or twice a day. But it's a lot funnier when it works out, and I even do it out in the wild. Because that's what she said is so dumb and cliche.
But that's kind of it's sort of turned the corner like a while ago to where it is sort of like a bit of a joke in and of itself. It's so played out.
Yes.
Because that was a thing from like Wayne's World. And it was played out when Steve Carell was doing it on The Office. That was sort of the point, was that he saw at a touch that he still thinks that's funny.
Yeah, he still thought it was hip, right. So now you got these low-hanging fruiters, office people that will still do that, yeah. But I made my own, which is I rented that on VHS once. Which works pretty good. It's pretty funny. Try it when it works. And it's funny, too, because people don't pick up on it. If you do it out in the wild. I saw
that on cable back in the 80s.
Yeah, I rented that on VHS once. Works out real good. It's a lot of fun. It's a new game to play, kids. Try it out. I could almost call that a catchphrase, but it's kind of my thing. So I claim it, I own it right now. I'm throwing my flag in the mud. And yeah.
Yeah, there's some people you can have fun with, and then there's some people that just don't get humor sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like I've even said it just in a group of comics, and they don't even pick up on it. It's one of those things, it's so subtle to throw it in there. But when you and another person are in on it, and then you throw the bomb in the room, and nobody picks up on it, it becomes like a funny thing. It is. You'll see it manifest. You'll watch.
Well, me and my girlfriend have like ongoing things that we do. Like they're sort of things that I said at some point that sort of stuck. Like, you know, if I drop something on the floor, I'm like, that's where I keep that. You know, it's almost like the old I meant to do that. The old Pee Wee Herman.
Right.
I go, that's where I keep that. You know.
That's a good one.
And then the other thing is then when you have to bend down to get it, you always like, you gotta like really grunt and just be like, it's all the way down there.
Right.
We're always like, it's all the way down there. You know, like it's such a chore.
Yeah, true. I've got a few of those too. Yeah.
That's always fun. And then the other one that I do, that she hates that I do, but it makes her laugh every time too, is anytime I put something into something, like if I put the keys in the lock, I'll go like,
Hey, that's pretty good.
She hates that I do that, but she laughs every time.
But then, right. Yeah. And the more you do it, at first it's irritating, but then the more you do it, it becomes a run-on.
It's stupid, but it just makes me laugh.
Oh, I could definitely see doing that, yeah. I like to imitate, I usually imitate my grandfather, who used to throw in little things, he'd be like, so I would just go, your grandmother was telling me, and whenever he would say something like that, it made no sense. Like instead of it going, you know what they say, a pound of feathers is worth a pound of cure. And we'd be like in the car like,
yeah, I remember, yeah.
he'd be like, oh.
Yeah, your grandfather would say stuff and then it would hit you and you'd be like, okay, either A, that's a saying that I've never heard before.
Right.
And it's something from like 80 years ago, right?
Right.
Or B, he's just fucking with us now. Because there were times that I was like, does he know we're fucking high? Like, is he messing with us?
Yeah, there was times he would, like he'd be giving us a ride and he'd be like, oh, you guys don't, you all act all silly with your weed, I'd be like, huh? He knows I'm a high. And then he'd go, yeah, we did the salts. I'd be like, the salts? What's he talking about? Like they must have done something in the Depression era, some kind of bath salts or something. I don't know what they did in 1920.
They just took coarse ground salt and just rubbed it on each other's skin.
Salts.
Like, what do you feel?
Yeah,
pain, a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's probably like some kind of snuff. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. What was with that sort of shit? So, remember that snuff shit?
It was like a finely ground powder, like a tobacco powder kind of thing.
Right? Yeah. And you snorted it through your nose?
Yeah, I remember doing that once in like 6th grade and I went, like it was almost like doing a key bump, but I did it, a friend had some, and it was like menthol. It almost tasted mentholate, like powdered menthol. And I remember kind of gagging and retching over it.
Yeah, didn't somebody have some in the neighborhood once and we all sort of tried it? Like, I remember it was like...
It seems like a Grignell thing, because I wouldn't.
Nah, I think it was more like Kunkel.
Yeah, or a Hall could. Yeah, who knows? But I did. I know I didn't bring it around, but I have done it, and yeah. Which I'm glad people don't do that. I mean, maybe they do out in the rurals. I don't know, but I mean,
people still do the chewing, and that's the thing. But the snuff, like the snuff thing, the sniffing thing.
Yeah.
That seems like such like a 1700s sort of thing.
Yeah, they were in those little metal tins that were about the size of like a candle. Yeah. I like the tins, though. I always thought the tins were probably pretty fun. But yeah. You know what I did see in the wild? Speaking of which, I saw this in the wild. Have you ever seen one of those old redneck guys, and he's got the homemade leather belt buckle, and he's got the big belt buckle, and his belly tucked behind it, and you're like, all right, that's pretty badass. But then he walked around, and you could see the back, and he had his homemade, all embroidered leather case strapped to his big old leather belt, which was round, and had his chewing tobacco in it. So he had made a leather chewing tobacco holder. It was about the size of a hockey puck.
Right.
I was like, wow, you don't see that too often anymore. That is so 70ish and so
did
rural.
it look like it was made round, or could it have been made like square and then over time it just sort of formed itself?
No, he made it like this. Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
He definitely made it like that. Yeah. And it was all custom and shiny, and you could tell he put the leather oil on it and everything.
Well, so there is something to that.
It was wild.
It's like the old idea of like a utility belt.
Right.
Which always seems very Batman and sort of like ridiculous.
Sure.
But,
you feel like that or a maintenance man.
Because like we used to go out in Arizona to the Renaissance Festival and shit like that a lot. And when you wear any of that sort of costume shit, there's no pockets.
And you're in the heat, so you can't be wearing coats, because you're in 100-degree heat, right?
No. It's out there in February and March.
Huh, okay.
In February, it's fucking chilly. You're trying to stay in the sun to keep warm, but by
so
March, you're
a
trying
utility
to
belt
stay in the
is
shade.
kind of conceptually not a far-off idea.
No, and that's why, like if you wear a kilt or stuff like that, they have a sporran in front, which is basically just like a bag.
Yeah, like a fanny pack.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, and so I have one of those, and so just the keys go in there. And back in the day, I was smoking like cigarettes and lighter and bowl and whatever. And you keep all your shit just there in the sporran or whatever because you don't have any pockets. But then, how are you holding that up on? You know what I mean? So you got to have a belt. So what they did back then is they had these really long belts that would just go around you, and then you just tie it in a knot,
right?
Which
like
makes
a
the
double
excess
wrapper.
part just go straight down.
Sure.
Right. So then you've got this belt.
Or they had the little rings and they tie it in the ring and.
Right. That just goes through the ring to tie the knot.
Right.
Yeah. It's through, under, over, and down. And then so you've got the belt. Then at that point, then it becomes you don't want to chuck your cell phone in the bag with everything else. So you get a little leather bag. You go to the people that make the little leather bags, and you find one that fits your phone. You put that on the belt. Now you got a thing for your phone on the belt. You know what I mean? Like I had like a little leather strap guy that I could put on my belt, and it had a little spring-loaded clip guy I could put my car keys on.
There you go. Yeah.
So I could always check and make sure I knew where my keys.
There's a market for that.
But a lot of people have so they're these little leather straps that go into the belt and they go around it, and then they have like a little hook on it. And people would carry their tankards, like the big mugs that they drink out of, because people carry those around. And so then if you go to buy a beer or something like that, and they give it to you in the plastic cup, they just dump it in the tankard and throw the fucking cup away.
Okay, all right.
And so when you're not drinking at the moment, you just fucking shake out the tankard.
Why don't we have? So when you think about it, so it's funny how we've ostracized the guy with the fanny pack. We've talked about the man purse before, but the fanny pack's out. But
I don't know. You say that, but according to who?
I don't know. Unless you wear it ironically, nobody wears
According to
them.
the fashion people, anything that exists right now is out. So, whatever. It's a sliding scale.
Yeah.
A lot of people that like them and use them and live by them.
Yeah, especially warmer climates. Like, yeah.
Especially travelers.
Well, travelers
stand-up
and you
comedians.
get great on the curve when you're in hot weather or you're at an amusement park, okay, because you got to have the fanny pack because, you're carrying 10 things around. You can't be.
Yeah. Well, I've been getting by on cargo shorts for a long time. I think cargo shorts took the place. Honestly, that's the only reason the fanny pack went away is because cargo shorts came out.
That's true. Cargo shorts, yeah. When did I roll in? That was probably, 2002?
You think that late?
Well, I'm sure they were floating in Dickies form earlier in the 90s, but probably thicker material. But I'm thinking by, 99 to 2002, maybe the cargo. Well, they've always had cargo shorts, but cargo pants, I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah, no.
They've been making lighter fabrics now.
I don't really remember. I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah.
I'm wearing Target cargos.
Speaking of fabrics, it's hotter than frig out there, but we're at the end of the season. I was telling this to Rome the other day. How about, your yay achievement to me, I got through this whole summer without having to wear any kind of shorts. I have not worn shorts one day. Screw you, shorts. I banished the shorts. Now, I'm not an idiot, and I'm not the guy who wears jeans to the beach. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I thought you never wore shorts.
No, I didn't. Well, beach and vacation, sometimes you have to because you don't want to look like a complete moron. But this year, I beat it by wearing those thin workout pants or the golf pants. Okay, here's where I was telling Rome. The golfers got it right. The golfers have been doing it for 10 years. These thin slacks that are made of the thinnest material, almost like a spandex, but they're loose. And I got a pair of those. Dude, it's like, you feel like you're not wearing any pants at all. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, it's like commando.
Well, if you get the right ones these days, they have it to where it's got full breathability, so air goes in and out.
Yeah.
So like I say, it feels like you're wearing nothing. But if you start sweating or whatever, it'll wick the moisture away from your skin.
And you're not going to get
And then dry
sunburn,
quickly.
and it's going to
That's
keep
true.
the mosquitoes off you too. You know, so
Yeah.
it's a win-win. I hate to say the golfers got it right, but the golfers got it right.
But you know what? I've been realizing the same thing at work when we go out and do shoots on the lake and stuff. They're all wearing, they're probably that same material. They're making hoodies out of them.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very lightweight, but it's like enough to keep them warm and like sort of as like a windbreaker, and it's like
Moisture whisking,
I think so.
but it also has an SPF level, but yet
Yeah.
it's not going to hold in the heat too.
right, and also it
Kind of like what this is. It's like
and
this weird stretchy.
I think it like I think it dries real quickly, that sort of thing. You know,
I've seen those. I don't have one, but I've
Yeah.
seen those.
Yeah, because
I think, other than maybe shorts on the
it
beach.
definitely gets sunburned, like on arms, hands. Like I had,
Right, that's what these are for, yes. And I'm sure surfers wear them probably. I could see surfboard, People are probably yelling at the screen right now. Stop, surfboard, I know you're an idiot. I know.
Well, that's the whole body glove stuff. That's
Yeah.
the neoprene, swimsuits. But I think there it all comes into like thicknesses, because I think that's all also diving stuff.
Well, yeah, that's a little thicker. Speaking
No,
of,
I think there's thin stuff for like surfing and that sort of stuff.
yeah,
and there's
the
thicker stuff.
surfers and the
And then there's
wakeboarders
stuff for
and
diving, and then there's stuff for deep diving that's probably twice as thick.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, side note, everybody, we're trying to edit this out. If you hear music playing in the background here,
We are not trying to edit it out.
we're not. Okay, we're just
What am I
gonna
do?
I mean, there's
Just
nothing
gonna
we
put
can
like
do.
a high pass.
Yeah, I know. So we're literally, it's like mowing the lawn over the weeds here. We've got a band next door. It's fine. They're cool. They're whatever. Bands are cool. We're pro band.
But here's the thing.
What they're practicing.
But here's the thing. The mics on the louds, they're not really picking it up.
Okay.
I mean, they'll pick it up like a little bit. It's like little background music.
It is amazing. Like right now, they're playing a song that's pretty tight. You could tell it's part of their list. But earlier, they're noodling around on some riff, and it was kind of, all right. I felt like, oh, come on, guys, what are we doing here? Let's move on. But no, now they're rocking a song. Totally makes sense. It's amazing what a tight band. There's a difference. When a band's semi-tight, you go, or fairly tight, you go, all right, I can hear that. But if you hear it through your computer, or if you're hearing it through your earbuds, something faint in the background, we're not complete morons. We're aware. And we're letting you know we have bands on the other side of the wall.
I hear girls talking too.
Oh yeah. The other day, there was it almost sounded like a drummer warming up, and then it got quiet, and then there was a girl talking. You're right.
You think it's ghosts?
Well, I don't know. This would be a shitty place for a ghost to be because it's an old it's an old office building. I don't know. I don't think anyone died here.
Well, it was a medical building.
Yeah. What do you think? Could have been a medical mishap.
Did I ever tell you when I went to, the only time I sort of had like a sort of ghosty sort of experience? It wasn't
Ooh,
really a
ghost.
ghosty
Okay,
sort of
let's tell
experience.
ghost stories.
It was, we were in, where were we? We were in Jerome, Arizona.
Okay.
So that's up north in the mountains in Arizona from Phoenix. It's kind of Sedona way, but it's this real little fucking town, and there is what's now a hotel, but at one point it was like a hospital up on the top of the hill. Just above
Hospitals
this
seem
little
to
town.
be the going rate.
Yeah, but now it's a hospital or a hotel. So we went and we stayed there. Because it was like my girlfriend's relative was having like a bachelorette party or a bridal shower thing there, something like that, And so they had rented. So they were like, 8 or 10 people that all knew each other that's staying. And it's a small place. There's only like
All right.
12 rooms in the place or whatever. So our room was up on the 3rd floor. Which when we go up to the 3rd floor, as soon as I got off the elevator.
Did you have trepidation like
No.
No?
But as soon as stepped off the elevator, there was just this sense of like stillness.
Is that just because no air was moving up there and just like the...
No, because we checked out all the other floors because it was like an old hotel or old building, so it was like interesting with the architecture and stuff like that. So we were all going up in the elevator with people. And we stopped at the first floor. Oh, let's poke around. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we checked out the first floor, got the lay of the land, see where people are at, what room they're in, whatever. Went up to the second floor. People here, and then and then it was done. So it's just me and the girlfriend, and we go up to the third floor.
Okay.
And we get off the elevator, and the other floors didn't have the feel. This one had the feel, and it was just like it was an odd stillness.
Is it just because no soul, no movement has passed through that sector in years or something, and like the dust hadn't even moved? It was just
not as intense as that, but yeah, definitely you can tell that there was no one up there, and it was all very sort of still, and you almost felt like you didn't want to make a noise because you didn't want to disturb the silence, sort of thing.
Okay.
So it was just sort of a weird vibe that I had, and then later someone told us that third floor used to be where what do they call it? That was the hospice wing or whatever.
Hospice?
Yeah, that was where the people went to die.
Oh, the last, yeah.
So, or like, the fatal cases, tuberculosis or whatever.
You're right.
But I was like, yeah, it sort of had that sort of vibe to it.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So that was the only, but like I said, it wasn't like, I didn't feel like, fearful of anything or anything like that.
No, you didn't feel the cold spots?
No.
Okay, now your girlfriend is into the whole metaphysical realm. That's her passion. So did she feel anything at the time, or was she way before her recognition or interest in the subject?
I mentioned about the stillness. She definitely sensed it too.
Yeah. But I would have thought she would have gone, "Oh wow," or no. She didn't.
Well, at the time she wasn't doing any of that sort of stuff, and then.
She probably just felt it like you did and just kind of, moved on because we're normal.
Yeah, she probably just chalked it up to, that there's nobody else up there. You know what I mean?
And the funny thing is, because Arizona's, the buildings, they're not really that old. It's not...
Yeah, right, exactly. Compared to back east here, yeah, they're not.
Yeah. So you're definitely 150 tops. Like 2 generations removed, 1 generation removed, too. So they're really not that old.
No.
But, I mean, hey, if it still carries that engine.
But it is sort of like, there's like another small town up north in Arizona there that, we would go to, and it's like the old, like you see in Twilight Zone. It's the old school. The town center has a green square with a bandstand, and around it are all the fucking buildings in a square around the town. It's like legit fun. OG, from back in the days, still there. Huh. And on Friday, Saturday nights, it's hopping. There's bars all around there. There's people all over.
Yeah.
People come from all over the area down there for dancing and drinking and whatnot.
All right, Orb of Truth. What's your take on okay, because I know you like to watch ghost hunter shit, you're fascinated, but you're a pretty normal guy. You like facts. You like just the facts. You're more Neil deGrasse Tyson than you would be, not. But what do you think? If you had to put your meter, this 0, no way, or 100. I think there's a different world on a world here, Where are you at on the meter?
So I have 0 experience with anything. So I've never had... I've had like weird feelings and stuff, but, stuff could just be in my head, Like I'll just get like, like there was a house I lived in once where it just... I don't know if it was just me, because it was like a transitional period in my life, or, there's something about the house or something like that. I didn't always feel comfortable in it, you know what I mean?
Oh, like you had to get it. Yeah, that Awatuki house you were talking about, wasn't it?
Well, that was the apartment. That was just like the whole situation and stuff.
All right.
I mean, that place was tiny.
Oh, so size. But yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, I never really, there was definitely, I felt dread, like when we were looking at houses, we went to like this one over there off 8th Street. house is normal, but when we got to the basement, there was a sense of like, you know, those old stairs that lead from the basement that go up the double doors that open up into the backyard?
Yeah, the storm cellar.
One of those, yeah. And I poked my head through there and I was like, oop, I am not going in there. Nope. And I felt like every hair on my body stand up, you know. But I mean, I didn't see anything, but there's definitely that, whoa, I gotta go, I'm out.
But that is pretty par for the course around here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This place has a lot of, you know, creepy old buildings that are, you know, old and creepy and whatnot. But it definitely seems better than it was. I mean, back in the day when we were like in high school and stuff like that, there was a lot more urban rot going on around here.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of spiffing up and, you know, over the last 20, 30 years.
This is true, yeah. Yeah, I guess gentrification pushes the ghosts along.
Yeah, that's true.
Gentrification.
Sometimes it do it, sometimes it do it.
The ghosts are anti-gentrification.
But here's my take on it. So, like, I have zero experience with any of it.
Sure.
So,
where do you fall on the meter?
I've sort of always been into it. My mom was into it. She would always have these ghost books and stuff. Like, I knew who Hans Holzer was and Ed and Lorraine Warren, like back when I was like 5, 6 years old and stuff like that. Just like reading books and you know, remember we were doing those Time Life books, Mysteries of the Unknown or whatever. Remember those?
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, that was like a big thing because it was hard to find, you know, all that information in one place, and then it was also hard to find any recent information. Like everything was like at least 20 years old.
Yeah, because this, and places didn't put out too many documentaries and movies about this. You know, I mean, we only had the Hollywood fiction. We didn't really have too many documentaries out there. There was no YouTube. You know what I mean? So there wasn't really a big pool of, you know, information and clippings and things to find, you know?
No, yeah.
It was very limited resources.
Yeah, very limited
Same with
resources.
UFO stuff. It was very limited, you know, so if you're into the subject, you would definitely find all the major marshmallows and then move on, you know, because, yeah.
Yeah, it's like few and far between, and yeah, it was very slow and frustrating, and so it was just sort of a ancillary thing. Like we would take car trips, you know, I'd read, you know, the Ghosts of Tidewater, Virginia, or, you know, the Ghosts of Southern Pennsylvania, or whatever. Yeah,
those Civil War ones, or like you used to go to Williamsburg. I remember you and your vacation. Your mother and your dad loved Williamsburg, and I always thought that area, Colonial Williamsburg, probably is a high ratio of hauntedness to it.
That whole area.
Yeah.
So that whole area where it's on a peninsula, that area where that peninsula is, at the tip of it is Jamestown, you know, which was the first settlement, 1607, first permanent settlement. They had a settlement before that down in North Carolina that vanished. That was the Lost Colony.
Roanoke,
yeah, that's the Lost Colony.
I always liked the concept of Roanoke.
We were there. We went to the play. They've been doing that play for like 40 years or something like that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. We would go to that all the time. It's fun.
What a great concept.
Yeah.
I know.
Because they have like a little amphitheater set up. Let's just like cut into the woods, like hacked into the woods.
I like when they make fictional movies on the lost thing of Roanoke. Oh, they were attacked by vampires. Oh, they were
there was a good
UFOs.
show on that.
You know, there's always some kind of fictional spin on it, which is very creative. It's a good little setting to play with from a creative writing part. You know.
Well, I mean, you know, it's more of a quasi ghost story sort of thing, you know. It's like they disappeared, but then there's like, you know, rumors over the next 100 years of people running into like, you know, white people that are living with Indians, you know.
Yeah.
That you know, they're just assimilated to, they're just living with them like regular, and they don't even speak English anymore, and
yeah. Out comes a blonde-haired Indian. Like, oh, come on, he slept with Johnny Smith.
Blue-eyed chick, and they're like, where'd they come from? And they're like, I don't know, she's been since they was a baby. You know, she grew up with us. I don't know.
Right.
Like that sort of stuff. So, you know, it makes you think that, you know, there was probably, you know, were they attacked by Indians? You know, I don't know, could have been. Did they run out of food and they were starving? And they
cannibalized themselves?
Or they had to move from where they were, you know? I mean, hell, it could be like, down there on Outer Banks and that sort of stuff, could be a hurricane blew in.
Sure.
And they had to flee and move inward.
Yeah.
You know,
and all those islands and inlets, I mean, they could have just, let's make a boat, let's get out of here, and then they all got swept to some weird
well, they
channel.
can't, because that's the whole thing about that area. Well, they probably didn't know it then, but that's, because of all those little shoals and the sandbars and all that sort of stuff, it's very dangerous to try and get out of there.
Yeah.
On the floats.
Yeah, I like to think that maybe, the women and children got assimilated by the Indians, and the men were probably killed, mixed with a lot of everyone, probably disease and hunger and starvation.
It's an interesting story.
Yeah.
But then after that, in 1607 was Jamestown, which I've been to Jamestown. I've been to the site and the dig site and all that. And so Jamestown was the first permanent settlement.
Yeah.
Because people always go, oh, Plymouth Rock, that was 1620. Jamestown was 1607.
Yeah, that's some history there. That's some white people shit.
So, yeah, but anyway.
All right, your take. Well, you didn't answer my question. On the scale, where are you at in the believability scale?
So as far as believability, I mean, basically what we're talking about here is the same whole idea that religion talks about, is that the soul is a part of us that lives on after this physical body dies, right?
Okay.
So if that's the case, then why is a ghost or a disembodied spirit somehow some sort of crazy idea, I mean, if that's how things work.
Yeah, you would, if you're the least bit religious and you believed in the soul, why could you not believe in the trapping of a energy? Okay. Right. But if you didn't believe in the ghosts, but I don't know. Is it a catch-22? Is it kind of like, well, I don't believe in anything. I'm an atheist.
Well, that's kind of the thing, and that's also the thing. If you also start looking at things in terms of, anything about quantum physics? Mm-hmm. Right. So if you look at things from a quantum physics point of view, in that everything in the universe is made up of the same stuff, just in different proportional ratios and different combinations, organized into some sort of physical structure based on a vibrational frequency or something.
That's true.
So if that's true, then by the next extension, you could rearrange things, transmute things from one form to another by changing that, vibrational frequency that organizes it at. An example that proves that is cymatics, which is that thing where they take a metal plate and then they put sand or some shit on it, and then they put it underneath like a 15-inch speaker that's hooked
and
up
it makes
to a
like
synthesizer.
a pattern.
Right, and they'll use like fundamental tones, and it'll organize itself into simple geometric shapes that change with the pitch of the tone.
Yeah.
But as they start getting into pitches that have more overtones in it, more harmonics, the designs become more mathematically varied and intricate, but still organized and regular and evenly distributed. It is easily verifiable physical proof that the sound vibration can organize physical material into different shapes that will self-organize into,
So conceptually, if you take it
a shape.
If you were to go a low farther down the scale, you're right. From a quantum level.
Yeah, because we're showing a simple representation of it using a two-dimensional plane.
Yeah.
You remember that Contact movie where they had the numbers, and then they realized, oh, we're looking at it two-dimensional. If we
The Jodie Foster movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we take this third set of integers and rotate it 90 degrees, then we get a three-dimensional plane.
Uh-huh.
That's when things start locking in. So it's like, if you have the soul, you could have a ghost situation. If you have, quantum theory where, particles, vibrational frequencies, then doesn't it really end up being the sort of situation where it's like, in a world not, in an existence not of the physical world, what is the reality? The sentience, the awareness, and then the thought is reality, because that's all there is thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but wouldn't it be more random than intentional? See, that's what, right. I agree with you on that, and I would go, okay, so I could see where a soul could get stuck into a building or something like that, or move, it could get, trapped somewhere. Fine, I get all that. But the concept of the ghost having, like a haunting, like, oh, it's going to turn out the lights. Oh, it's going to open the door and close the door. Like, that would have intention. Okay. I don't think it has intention.
All right, well, then let's get into some of the terminology that has been laid out. So these ghost hunting shows I find fascinating. I find John Edwards fascinating. I was just watching some of this newer shit with that Tyler Henry, that Hollywood medium or whatever.
Yeah, the new kid.
Yeah, shit is kind of fascinating. I'm a big fan of that show, The Dead Files, where it's the old retired homicide cop.
Yeah.
And then the medium, they go in separately and investigate. People call them in because they got a problem with paranormal shit. They go in separately and do these investigations, right? The cop talks to him, interviews him, goes and does research, finds out about the history, this sort of stuff. The psychic chick and her partner buddy who videotapes her, they come in by themselves at night. They don't know anything about anything. They just come in, walk through the place. She just says what she says. Her buddy documents it,
Right.
And then at the end, they meet up together. They verify notes and all this sort of stuff.
I like the analytical mind of a homicide detective going through it because he's got to work with the facts.
Yeah, New York City homicide cop. He used to be a Marine, all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So I think it's a very interesting show. It's almost a sort of double blind sort of thing. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's all scripted. Of course it's scripted. I've watched enough episodes that you can see the repetition and how they, lay this shit out. But the thing I pay attention to is the shit that she says when she's doing her walkthrough. Because a lot of times the shit that she says doesn't necessarily directly relate back to, like it doesn't end up factoring in later to the explanation of what's going on or any of that sort of stuff. But it's like detail stuff. And when you watch enough episodes, there are things that she would say that like it crops up in this episode, and a couple years later it crops up in this episode. And some of those things that I find really fascinating is she would come across places where the land is actually cursed. So it seems Native Americans would actually curse the land into where negative entities would coalesce there. Yeah. And so it would be like people come and try and settle on the land, their families would die and get sick young, they'd have tragic accidents,
water was poisoned.
One calamity after another, these sort of things. And another thing that was super interesting was she would mention about these shadow people.
Shadow people, all right. I know, that's always been terrifying to me as a child, but I know, okay, keep going.
Which also sort of then brings up this other idea. So these are what they talk about as non-human entities, right?
Yeah.
These aren't spirits of people. She says she doesn't know what the shadow people are or where they come from, but they thrive on like chaos and they get a kick out of just fucking with people.
Making mayhem.
Causing trouble.
That could be your atypical demon or your imp.
Well, no, that's...
The troublesome imp.
No, that's the thing. So the demons are a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all... Because if you look at the concept of the soul, the spirit, the sentience, the conscience being the existence, right? Then if you believe in, like, let's say stories of the Bible and that sort of stuff, angels, those who came down from above, any of that sort of stuff.
Right.
If they're not of this earth, they're essentially immortal. Like, they're still around.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. When they say not of this earth, it could mean they're not of this timeline or this linear time.
They're not of the physical realm. The physical realm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, okay, I don't preclude it. I see where there definitely could be there. And with these ghost hunting shows, I've seen a lot of bits of evidence that are very clearly unexplainable. And, they're few and far between, but they're unexplainable. And there's shit that you see with your own eyes and you can't really believe what you're seeing.
Yeah, every now and then you see something and you go, yeah, I know, I don't have an answer for it. I mean, I'd love to have an answer, but I don't. Okay.
I mean, like there was a ghost hunter show where they were down in St. Augustine, Florida. They're at the lighthouse, right? And so there's the two guys, Jay Hawes and Grant, or whatever.
Lighthouses are always haunted.
Jay and Grant. So, and they had a camera down at the bottom looking up the lighthouse, the stairs going up and everything. So they had the camera down there, and so they had walked all the way up, like 5-6 flights, all the way up to the top. They thought they heard some noise, this or that. And they caught on camera, it looked like there was a shadow on one level, and then it just whoosh, jumped to another level. And you could see this sort of shadow moving, and it was weird. So then these two, they walk all the way back down. They get down to the bottom. They hear a noise, and they look up, and it looks like a pair of eyes looks over at them from the fifth floor or whatever. And you're seeing it there on camera, and there's nobody up there because there's the camera, and then there's these two guys, and ostensibly like a camera guy or whatever the fuck. But they're all together. Like they're all down there, like they're at the bottom. They're like, okay, we investigated the lighthouse. We're leaving. They were about to walk out the door, and then it looks like, and they raise the level of the darkness so you can kind of see, and it's like a shadowy figure, and the eyes are reflecting the infrared light from the camera that's down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, I don't know what it is, but there's something up there that's peeking over and looking at them that wasn't there before because they were just up there.
It wasn't like a raccoon?
No, it was like looking over the railing. Like you could see like head and shoulders sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. But when I always think of like lighthouses and stuff, like my theory of the spirits being trapped in something like that, like a magnetic hole, and of course like a silo with energy in it.
Like an energy vortex.
Yeah, like a weird magnetic vortex where souls could attach themselves. I get that. That's where I think. I just question the intent. If a soul could definitely not know it's there, but it also can go, well, ooh, I'm going to scare these new people coming in. Like the intent. I think it's just like it's a whole different.
Yeah, well, that gets back to the haunting types. And on these ghost hunting shows, it's interesting that they use different technologies and methodologies to try and gather information and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting to see what sort of pans out over the years on these. Like, I've seen some pretty convincing evidence with like spirit box sort of thing.
Yeah, the spirit box stuff is kind of cool.
Where it's just like talking to him and giving answers and stuff. They were doing a seance at the house that was like next door to the house where the Manson murders occurred.
Ooh.
And it was apparently the ghost of the guy that was there with Sharon Tate and that got killed.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the guy that nobody ever remembers his name, but yeah, he was like coming through.
Yeah, spirit boxes are kind of fascinating. Like you go, right, are we just talking like an electromagnetic frequency here? I get it. But they're getting better quality as the years go on. So you go, wow. Yeah. But I don't know. You don't fuck with, like you were telling me the other day, you ain't fucking with no Ouija board.
Never.
I mean, I don't even necessarily believe in this stuff, and I ain't fucking with a Ouija board.
I can't tell you how many of those stories like start with someone fucking with a Ouija board.
They never end well. No one goes, "Hey, Dad." No.
It is literally, it literally opens a portal.
Yeah.
And people don't know how to close it, and it remains open.
Right.
And if you destroy it, and it's always open. And it's like, is that portalage attached to you? Is it attached to the place that you did it? I don't know. Roll the dice.
Yeah. I just say don't mess around with the powers that be.
No, but when you get down to the hauntings, so on these shows, there are residual hauntings where it's like something that has been recorded that happened there.
That's the kind I believe in.
These are like Civil War battlefields.
Yeah,
these sort of things.
Yeah,
like every night at midnight, something will float through the courtyard or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the residual haunting.
Yeah.
Then there's the intelligent haunting. That's the ones that are, using the, hitting on the PK meters and making them blink and answer, once for yes and two for no or whatever. And the spirit boxes and that sort of stuff, that's all the intelligent ones.
I'm questioning those.
That's the ones where they're asking questions and it's coming back with answers. Like that one where they were talking, that guy's name was Jay, the guy that got killed with Sharon Tate at that house. His name was Jay something. And it was interesting. They were asking questions. They were like, there was just like general stuff. They're like, oh, was someone there? And it would answer yes. And then, are you male? Are you female? Blah, 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 blah. You're associated with this. And they just whittled it down to where then they go, are you Jay? And it's like, yes. And it's like, oh, fuck, you know? It's like, oh, now we're talking to Jay. And so then they start asking him specific questions, and he's answering, you know? And it's like, whoa. Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's real interesting, man.
I know, there's so many offshoot, low budget, high budget, whatever, shoots of that. But I wonder if there's proof. I don't want to say proof, but is there a tangible sign? I wonder what Neil deGrasse Tyson says about this.
He'll just say it's all hooey, whatever. But I think now there is a common thing of these people on these shows that are doing these sort of investigations that they oftentimes get stuff attached to them and bad things happen.
Yeah, that I could see.
Some of them come down with like real bad physical illnesses. Some of them, you know, they bring home an attachment and then, you know, then they're having issues with the wife.
That's like, I seen a thing like, it's kind of like the Brady tiki from Hawaii. They say the Honolulu post office is filled with people mailing volcanic rocks back to them.
Oh, because they took them and then bad stuff started happening.
And,
that's interesting.
Yeah, that they have a huge amount in the that people send back.
Wow.
Whatever that's worth, I don't know.
That's interesting.
But I've got it in my personal zeitgeist from the remember the two Brady Bunch episode where they took the tiki home?
Yeah, the Hawaiian vacation.
Right, and all the bad stuff started happening. I know, that's why it's in my head from that. But yeah, in fact, about 2 weeks ago, I just read the thing about the people mailing the rocks back from Hawaii. And that the post office is filled with them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's weird, yeah. But yeah, so with all these hauntings and stuff, I mean, you know, like I said, I've seen interesting bits of evidence that are really hard to, you know, disprove or dispute, you know, when you see it.
All right, you got to answer. What's your number on the scale? 0? No way. 100?
As to what? Does it exist? Do I believe? You know, what are we asking?
Yeah, you believe.
Do I believe that spirits exist? Yeah, of course I believe that spirits exist. Because I believe that we have souls. That's spirits.
So I guess we got to go with that, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you believe this, then that. You know, it's like it's not that different.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And once again, if it's this idea of conscience without physical form, and if that is the natural state of things in the universe, and that this is only this weird physical realm that we come down to learn life lessons here.
Yeah.
To learn limitations and to learn, you know. I mean, this whole place is about balance, right? It's about duality.
Sure.
It's about hot and cold, up and down, black and white, left and right, you know. That's sort of the nature of things here. But then, if the nature of the entire place is the duality, I always say that there's a third, and that third is in between the two, and this is the whole yin-yang thing. That's the balance point, right?
The line
center.
that goes... Whoop.
But right at the center of that line, if you take that yin-yang symbol and you start spinning it, there's a point in the middle that doesn't spin. If you take a camera and you put it out looking at the night sky getting the stars, and you put it on a super long exposure all night, guess what? There's one star that doesn't move. The North Star.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
wow, there you go. Now you got everyone's brains tweaking on that one.
There's a pivot point. So you got your black and your white, but right in between there, 50% gray. Yeah.
All right. I like it.
You know, so anyway, so if you start thinking about sort of stuff like that, I mean, look, a lot of the British ghost hunting shows are really bad, and it's like, did you hear that? You know, it's like,
yeah, and they have the benefit of having older land, and they're just more boring people.
Yeah, no, that's not to say like I've seen
every British person's going, "Fuck you, Aaron."
I've seen Zach Bagans and then went over to this Ram's Head Inn one time, which is this like 800-year-old little building.
That sounds familiar. Ram's Head Inn, yeah.
That this weird little guy was living in. That place is fucking weird. Like I've seen there's a couple of places that I'm like, yeah, that shit's fucking definitely haunted.
Spookaroo.
Yeah, a lot of them like prisons and shit like that. Like fucking.
I rented that on VHS once.
What's that? Spookaroo?
No. A lot of prisons. No. All right. It's hot in here. I'm getting hot. Are you hot? We got to get out of here.
I'm not wearing a jacket and pants, but yeah, okay.
No, it's it's the thin golfing material.
Yeah, but we do have to shut off the fan for the audio, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, stagnant air.
Stagnant air. We're all gonna die.
Okay,
All right.
so everybody hit us up at the email address. We'll put it up there.
We could. Hey, this has been a fun app. One of these days we'll do a ghost hunt. That would be funny. We should go on a goofy ghost hunt.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a GoPro camera.
You've been trying to get me.
take the laughs.
Hey, you want to go ghost hunting? Yeah, all right.
No. So
It just seems like a lot of moving parts to do.
So my old singer out in Arizona, Brandon, he said at one point in high school, him and some of his friends were out dabbling around with ghost hunting shit. Mm-hmm. And he said one time they were doing like a Ouija board or something like that, and the spirit came through and told them basically, why are you wasting your time looking into this sort of stuff when all the answers will be revealed to you in time? Don't waste the time that you have now looking into this sort of thing.
Wow, smart spirit.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, after that we just sort of lost interest in that. Just sort of lived our lives.
Yeah, we lost interest. But yeah, wow. But that is funny for a spirit to say that. Like, don't worry about it. Just step away from the Hasbro Ouija board and go live your life.
Yeah, the Hasbro Ouija board. I can't believe it's just like mass produced in the game section. All over the country in toy stores.
I know, yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, summon the devil. Hey, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, open up a portal so you can get
Open
taken
up a
over by a
portal so
demon.
the demons can get through. That's a great Christmas gift. Thanks, Mom.
All right, we'll see how that goes next week.
All right, schlickety doodly. We're out, yo.
What would we do without Galaxy Glue? Galaxy Glue, Galaxy Glue. Life would go to pieces